Alrighty guys, doing a Raw review from this past Monday 2 days ago on February 16th, alright? So, here's what we got here for the show. Pretty good show, wasn't too bad, not too shabby, it was pretty fantastic. A lot better than most episodes that they've had in the last several months. So starting off, we go ahead, we get John Cena and Rusev doing a promo. John Cena comes out, tries to tweak his character a little bit. Tries to go ahead and make his character a little bit more badass, more passion, not so childish kind of look, without changing his character into a heel type character. Which is fine with me. I'm cool with that. I like John Cena. I don't think he's a bad wrestler. I mean, he's not the best, but he's alright. Rusev comes out. He starts his end of the promo, and he does a very good job. This guy is starting to really get good each week on the mic. He is definitely improving, showing some personality instead of being bland and stale and boring. He's definitely got some swagger behind his character now. He's starting to show that he has a personality to his character. So I'm really liking that. I think that Liana needs to, back off a little bit and let Rusev have the spotlight more often than she should. Personally, I could live without her, but hey, if you want to put him with a manager, okay, great, wonderful, who gives a crap. So they go ahead, they have a heated argument. John Cena runs down up the ramp to attack Rusev. Him and John Cena brawl and whatnot. He tackles him on the steel ramp and then throws Rusev into near the Titantron. Knocks him out cold, holds the world, not the world. So used to him being in the World Championship hunt, it's a little different. Holds the United States Championship belt up over his head. Now, granted, people, this is not, there's no way, if you're a John Cena fan, John Cena is not winning this United States title at Fastlane. I am 90% sure you will not be seeing that on Sunday night. Bottom line, you're probably going to see a DQ. More than likely, that's my prediction. So, the show, that segment ends. Good segment, good deal, didn't mind it at all. Then you have Dean Ambrose. He, later on, he has a match first with Luke Harper. Luke Harper and him have a very decent match. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Good show. They had a good match with each other. Did some decent moves. Luke Harper proves that he is a decent wrestler despite the fact of how tall and he's not exactly a fast-paced wrestler. He's kind of like slowed-down type wrestler at a moderate pace. And Dean Ambrose keeps on proving that he is one of the best out of the guys from The Shield. I think he's very good. I like how they're building Dean Ambrose up this time. They're not doing like what they're doing with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns WWE. They're doing the right thing with him. They made him go on a slump in the storylines. Now they're slowly building him up into a main event stature type character. I like it. I think it's very good, and his whole purpose is to hunt for the Intercontinental title against Wade Barrett. I think that is very decent and very and a good idea to go with. That's the best way to build him up. Start him off with a mid-card title again, make him hold it for a decent amount of time, and then push him slowly into the main event. Alright? So, we go ahead, we go to backstage, and we hear from the Rhodes brothers and their father. Dusty gives them a pep talk, and man, oh man, am I getting bored of Cody Rhodes being Stardust. I liked it when he was just Cody Rhodes with Goldust. I think they were a very cool tag team. Liked them a lot during that time in 2013, 2014. and they had to change it. For whatever the reason, I don't know. I think it was the dumbest move they could have possibly done. Cody Rhodes looks absolutely ridiculous. They go out, they have a match with New Day, the Rhodes brothers. They finish the match. The match ends. Nothing too big to talk about here. This match sucked. I give it a dud. I didn't even care for it. New Day has no different type of characteristics to their characters. They're the same old with a new gimmick, but they're the same thing. There's nothing unique about them. So, match ends. Goldust is the one that gets pinned. Cody gets a little angry about it. So he gets, he pretends he's forgives him and all that, and then hits him with his finisher on Goldust. Well, you kind of figured that's where it was going to lead to, no matter what they were going to do. That's where they're trying to build on. You know, for a fact, more likely, they might face each other at WrestleMania. I think they should change him back to Cody Rhodes and have him face his brother in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania on the main card. Not the pre-show, not any of that crap. On the main card. I really think that. I think that would be good for both of them. Goldust hasn't really had his WrestleMania moment yet, and Cody Rhodes, well, it would be great for him to have a good starting point to build to a main event type character with him. This Stardust thing ain't gonna work. So you go backstage, and Stardust goes ahead, explains to his father that Cody Rhodes is dead, and so is his father is dead. Now, I'm not going to get into depths of word for word what he said in that promo. It was very good, except for that freaking ending. I think they should have tweaked that and not say something like that. It was very distasteful. I did not like it. I just thought it was very disgraceful to say something like that to your own father, even though, yeah, it was a storyline, but it is, you're talking to your dad. You're not like talking to a fictional father or something. You're talking to your actual father. You're saying that kind of shit. I couldn't do that to my own dad. I mean, unless you absolutely hate him, but I don't see how Cody could hate his dad. His dad's always been there for him, and he helped him get in WWE more than certain. Besides the fact of his hard work and ethic and everything else that helped him get in there as well. But they didn't have to have him say that to his father. I thought that was disgusting. It was a good promo, but the ending remark was pretty bad. I think they should have just had him say, "You're not my father anymore." That would have been a little less severe than saying, "Oh, my father's dead." I mean, that's kind of sick. But hey, fuck it, who cares? I mean, at this point, WWE seems to have no respect for anything, not its fans, not for the people that, are involved in these storylines. It's just a free-for-all of whatever they can possibly pull out of their ass to make something drastic or something, I guess, shock value. Whatever, it don't matter. But I think it was a little distasteful and something that wasn't necessary to do. But moving on, we go on to a segment backstage then with Triple H, Big Show, and Kane in that. And if you watch SmackDown, which I really didn't, except for like the ending of it when Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns was facing Kane and Big Show. Kane and Big Show had a disagreement with each other. Big Show punched him out, knocked him unconscious, and they lost the match. Kane got upset with him backstage. They were bickering, arguing like a couple of kids. And it was a little ridiculous. I'm just sitting there going, what are they doing? Like, come on, man. What in the world are you doing here? You're making a show and they sound like children. They're two grown men that are 7 feet tall between the two of them. And they're in their 40s and close to their 50s. And they're bickering, arguing with each other like a couple of kids. Again, segment that wasn't even worth having in the show was retarded. And Triple H is playing like the in-between guy trying to get them both to stop bickering and arguing like a couple of kids, which he happens to say in that segment, I believe. The segment was just dumb. So, we move on. We go to the next match, which is the third match on the card, which is Kane versus Roman Reigns. Kane-Roman Reigns was an okay match. It wasn't horrible. It's Reigns' deal. He needs to work on adding more moves to his repertoire. He needs to just be able to improve on his wrestling ability. His mic skills, personally, I feel fine with his mic skills. I don't have anything too, critical to say about his mic skills. There's not too much criticism, I should say, except, he does stutter. A couple of times I've heard him stutter on the mic. I mean, granted, in these videos I do the same thing, so you can't fault the guy. I mean, he is just human. He ain't a perfect person or anything. But he needs to be able to work a little bit better and speak more fluently, where it sounds like it's coming out of his mouth like it's his own, not following a script. Now, granted, I'm not following a script, but hey, I stutter sometimes, so boo-hoo, kiss my ass if you have a problem with it. Not great, I'm totally sorry for that comment. So we go ahead, we have that match. The match was okay, as I just mentioned. I give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. The match was alright because of the fact that, Kane was doing a little bit better than usual, in my opinion. I think it was an alright match. The ending, though, could have been better. It ended with a count-out with Roman Reigns coming up with the win. Daniel Bryan was playing a psychological game with Roman Reigns during the match. He was sitting there on the commentary table, talking with the other commentary guys, and he was doing the yes chant with the rest of the crowd and everything, and starting that up, and fans were really getting into it. And the fans are just not into Roman Reigns, and I don't blame them. There's just nothing about his wrestling ability that attracts you. It doesn't get you to want to say, hey, this is awesome what this guy does. But later on in this show, he really shows you something, which I'll explain later in this video about. It was very good. I can't deny this. And you'd have to see it for yourself at the end of the show if you haven't watched the Monday Night Raw episode, okay? So, Kane and Roman Reigns was an alright match, but it wasn't that great. So, we move on to Paige versus Summer Rae. Before the match even started, this was so childish and so dumb, and once again it proves to the wrestling fans of the world how retarded WWE writers have become. Why would you have the Bella Twins steal Paige's clothes? For what? What is that to prove? So she can't go have a match? I mean, you could always have her go out naked. I mean, maybe that would turn on Vince McMahon, I don't know. But I wouldn't give a shit if that gave that guy a boner or not. Not that I should be talking about this. Kind of stupid, but what do you know? Whatever. I mean, I definitely would enjoy that, watching, Paige go out there and be naked, but hey, that wouldn't be suitable for kids, and that's totally understandable not to want to do that. So she bumps into these people that are part of Ambrose's group, the party people, whatever, they belong in a fucking mental institution. They all seem like they're tripping on LSD. She happens to get one of their clothes. It's a fairy dress and whatnot. She looked pretty hot when she came out with it on. And she's one of the better female wrestlers in the women's division in WWE right now. I mean, there's not much to say about her, except for some of the NXT women wrestlers. They're pretty good. But speaking just general in the main roster, the women's division is really crap. She's about the only thing that's at all good right now. Match was alright. I'd give it a 1 out of 5. Mainly it would have been a dud if it wasn't Paige involved in the match and actually wrestling in it. So I'd give it a 1. Actually, I would say 1 point. Nah, 2 out of 5 to be more exact. I'm not gonna be so harsh on it, but yeah, 2 out of 5 is probably the most suitable thing to do. To say about this match. It wasn't too bad, but it wasn't that great either. At all. By all means, it wasn't. So, we go ahead, we get another segment. Seth Rollins comes out. Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler's match is next, and Seth Rollins comes out. He talks, does a promo with Dolph Ziggler. Those two were fantastic. A lot of passion, a lot of motivation. Very good on their part, WWE, to not have Dolph Ziggler feel down on himself, despite the fact that he's been on a downward spiral for the last couple of weeks, losing matches and whatnot. Mostly to Bray Wyatt, but that's because they're trying to build him up, which I will mention about he has a series of promos, 3 of them for that matter, I guess one for each hour or so. He comes out, he's pretty confident, and him and Seth Rollins, they talk smack to each other. Good stuff, I liked it, I didn't think it was that bad. And Seth Rollins, every week, he's proven that he's definitely a very good heel. And the match itself, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Mainly, it's simple. Is because, why, you may ask me, why a 4.5 out of 5? When it should be more of like a 5 out of 5. Simple, because the ending sucked. The match itself was excellent. Nothing was bad about it. It was picture perfect. The only issue about it was the ending. Would they please get rid of Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble? Those 2 guys don't even belong there. It makes Seth Rollins look weak. He doesn't need that. He needs to look strong. If you want to push him to become a main eventer, you make him look strong. Not look pathetic and weak. If he's going to be a heel, fine. Make him be a heel, but make him have guts. Make him have determination to win. He can do dirty tactics and stuff, but he doesn't need outside interference in every freaking match that he does. It's just utterly ridiculous. Thankfully, WWE's making up for this. They're going to put this on SmackDown, redo the match over again, and get rid of the J&J security is banned from ringside, which technically they did on Raw, but they didn't stay backstage. So hopefully this time around they have these 2 guys face each other on SmackDown, and it's a clean finish, and there's no outside interference whatsoever, and one of them wins. I really would like to see that, because they really they did excellent on that. They were one of the best matches out of everything on this episode, hands down. So, and definitely, if they're on SmackDown, that match should be the main event. I don't care about Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, even though they are doing a great build-up to this match to Fastlane. But this match is going to be on SmackDown. SmackDown's not at the same level as Raw right now. They're looking at it as just another regular, ordinary TV show. So, I personally feel that this would give good value to the show, putting it at the last 15 minutes of SmackDown episode. I think that would be good for both of them to be in a main event type spot on the SmackDown episode at least. So definitely, I thought it was a great match overall. Again, 4.5 out of 5. Alright. So, we go ahead, we get a promo of what's his name? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Dean Ambrose. Okay, Dean Ambrose, he goes on, earlier during the show, before Barrett and Mizdow had their match, he also did a gimmick, mocking Barrett's little new gimmick that he's doing with the BNB News or some crap like that. I think it's not that great. I really don't think they should go with it. I think they should just go with him just doing the bad news type gimmick and announcing about it, but not doing it like TMZ type stuff. I think it's a little ridiculous. But anyway, Dean Ambrose tells the audience that he's going to go ahead and make Barrett have to sign the contract to face him for the Intercontinental Championship at Fastlane. Alright? So, we go ahead, we get to the match where Barrett and Mizdow, and my God, will they please get rid of The Miz? I mean, you absolutely suck, my friend. You are shit. You're not even worthy of being on the TV, on my television, pal. You suck, man. You're horrible. You don't belong on TV at all. You just take up space and time. You're worthless. You used to be something, and even then, there were some people that thought you were crap then too. And you're just a one-hit wonder. So, bag off. Go do something else, please. You suck. Anyway, getting off that rant, Mizdow ain't much better. Damien Sandow is his regular name, but he goes by Mizdow because he's a copycatter and a stunt double, and all that kind of bullshit. And it's just ridiculous. The fans are not getting behind Damien Sandow. They're making fun of him because of the fact of how hilarious and weird and strange he is during Miz's matches, okay? It's not going to help him build into something. It's not. It's not even going to help him build into a mid-card wrestler. He's just a laughing stock. That's all they got Damien Sandow as. A laughing stock. That's not how you treat your wrestler. That's not how you treat a guy who had, in my personal opinion, the best match against John Cena in his career. His best match was against John Cena, okay? When he cashed in the world title in 2013 of November. Alright? So, bottom line is, this guy is a laughing stock at this point. They need to reboot his character, bring him back up, and do a new character for this guy, or bring back the Damien Sandow character and help him get back to where he once was before he started going on this downward trend, okay? So, bottom line is, that's the truth. Barrett wins the match. Miz is constantly interfering with the match, telling Mizdow to please, can you get this out of my shoe, this mark off my shoe, shine my shoe for me, fix my glasses, all this dumb stuff just to help Barrett win the match, which was ridiculous. And it was retarded. I'm just sitting there going, what a waste of time. And at this point, this is where the show starts going downhill until Daniel Bryan and Big Show's match. They go ahead and Barrett and the Miz made a deal with each other. If Miz went ahead and took care of Mizdow, Miz would take care for Barrett against Dean Ambrose from making him sign the contract for the Intercontinental title. Stupid, dumb segment. Don't understand why it happened, because in all honesty, Miz didn't even live on his end of the bargain. He didn't live up to his end of the bargain. He just kind of just disappeared and did nothing in that situation. And Dean Ambrose tied him up to the pole, to the turnbuckle pole, and made him sign the contract. Simple as that. It was funny. I thought it was kind of ridiculous. It was like ripping off John Cena from Extreme Rules of 2010 with Batista in a Last Man Standing match, but I thought it was a little funny. It's a little bit funny, but it wasn't exactly making you want to laugh your ass off, but it was a little chuckle kind of thing, and a little bit hilarious. So you get that. Then after that, you get a really strong promo here. This is where things really get good during this last hour. This and the Daniel Bryan Big Show ending. Triple H is out. He's venting about how he's sick and tired of the Sting trying to destroy what he's been trying to help build as he moved into the company and everything and all that jazz. And he feels that, he says, like, Sting was the face of WCW. He was a leader. It was his house. His company went kaput. He liked the fact, he has respect for him for the fact that even though the company went kaput, he didn't come into WWE. He went ahead and just sunk with the ship and went elsewhere. Okay? Ric Flair comes out of nowhere. He's telling him, don't take this guy lightly, all this stuff, and they kind of get really heated into the argument about it, and he mentions about Daniel Bryan, how he's like, anyone asked me about you and Daniel Bryan last year at WrestleMania 30, I said, Triple H would beat Daniel Bryan in 30 minutes. Or not 30 minutes, excuse me. He would beat, I apologize, completely mess up. Let's retry that. He goes ahead and he says, I think Triple H could beat Daniel Bryan in 5 minutes. The match lasted for 30. Okay, so he went ahead and he got a little frustrated how Ric Flair was constantly going back and forth with him about this situation and how he felt, and that he believes that he could beat Sting at WrestleMania and whatnot, and he doesn't take the guy lightly, and they kind of got a heated debate about it, and he finally shoved him. And in that segment, again, I'm saying to myself, the man is almost 70. You're shoving the guy on his ass because you're trying to make a point? What? Because you're a big badass and you believe you can beat Sting? How does that prove anything, dude? I mean, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're picking on this 68, maybe 70-year-old man who's fucking an alcoholic. Granted, is one of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived. Okay, outside of Hulk Hogan, alright? And you're doing that to him? I mean, that's a little fucking deranged. Not even worth... You didn't even have to go to that length to prove that, that this is a great promo. It was doing fantastic before he did that. I mean, if he did that with Shawn Michaels, it'd be a little bit different. They're around the same age. It's more about the fact of respect. I mean, you want to, those two guys personally actually like each other, and doing that on TV because of, even though it's a script and everything, you're shoving this almost 70-year-old man on his ass to prove that you're a badass. Why? What do you got to do that for? It's not really necessary. It's kind of makes you look a little like a disrespectful prick, an asshole, which generally Triple H seems to do well at. But hey, if that's what he likes doing, then good for him. A little newsbreaker, they did do a storyline segment where, on a weekly basis, every Wednesday they have Michael Cole talk to Triple H about things, and they do a segment where he apologized about what he did to Ric Flair. I thought that was pretty cool what they did for throwing into the storyline, making it like realistic. So I actually did like that. I thought that was really cool of them to do something like that instead of just completely ignoring how disrespectful that really was. So they did make up in that aspect. So I don't really have too many complaints now at this point about it. But before I heard anything about this, I thought it was pretty pathetic to do something like that. But it was pretty cool that it acknowledged that, and he's saying, hey, I'm human, I got upset, I shoved him, I made a horrible mistake, and life goes on. So that was a very good point to add to that. So we go ahead, we move on into, and not to mention, we had Bray Wyatt do 3 different promos before I move into this next match. Bray Wyatt did 3 different promos that was pretty much, if you are at this point, a coffin, nails. In one of those promos, he had a coffin and nails and shit, and he's hammering in. If you don't understand what the hell he's referring to, then you're dumber than shit, okay? And it's pretty simplistic. He's referring to The Undertaker at this point. If you haven't caught that, then you're lost. Completely. Because I've never seen him use coffins and nails before and hammering them in there. So if you don't know what he's referring to, you're out there. You're somewhere else. But it's pretty obvious, and if you've looked behind the scenes, you know what's going on. Okay? So we then move into the Jimmy Uso and his girlfriend, his wife actually, I should say, who I forgot her name, don't really care, meaningless to me, versus Natalya and Tyson Kidd. Match wasn't that great. That's all I have to say. Match sucked. a couple of weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, those two, the Usos versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro was way better than this. And I guess because Natalya and the wife of Jimmy Uso was in this match. So I wasn't too particularly impressed by this whatsoever. I'll give it a 1 out of 5 stars. This was shit. And then the ending was just even worse. I mean, you're going ahead and you're having freaking Tyson Kidd yell at his wife, Natalya, because she lost a match. Ridiculous, okay? That's the only thing I can say at this point about that. Alright? So then we move into the main event. The main event, okay, Daniel Bryan versus Big Show has been done a million times. Granted, the ending wasn't good. The match itself was a little bit bad because of the fact that Big Show is a fucking overgrown goofball who's fatter than shit and should retire by this point. I used to love Big Show. I thought he was an intimidating character. Now he's just a big goof who's taking up space, like some of these other guys that are on this show. Alright? The match was good on Daniel Bryan's part. Big Show wasn't so great. Like I said, he's old, he's washed up, he needs to hang it up. That's all there is to be said about Big Show at this point. And so the match doesn't really have an ending. Roman Reigns, I believe, if I remember correctly, he interfered in that match, knocked Big Show on his ass because Big Show went ahead and accidentally speared Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns took offense to that, so he went into the ring and Superman punched him in the face. Match ends. Daniel Bryan takes offense to that. They both get angry with each other, and they start hauling off, beating the shit out of each other. And let me tell you, it was scripted, but boy did it look real to me. It looked like a real, authentic brawl. These two guys look like they really want to tear each other's heads off. And I think that was fantastic script writing on WWE's part and fantastic acting by both of these two guys. They did a great job with each other, feeding off each other's anger and beating the hell out of one another, hopefully not hurting each other in displaying a good show, but really putting on a good show for everyone to watch. One scene, it just made me go, holy shit, Roman Reigns is fucking awesome here. He went ahead, he gets hit by Daniel Bryan. It's by where the ring bell guy is and the other guy that announces the wrestlers' names as they're entering into the ring. They go ahead and they're hitting each other, and Daniel Bryan gives him a decent shot to the face. And then Roman Reigns hauls off and elbows him right in the face, knocks Daniel Bryan on his ass. I was like, whoa, this is freaking unreal. Bottom line, even though the match ended in a crappy manner, it was a fantastic match. I have to give it at least a 3.5, maybe even a 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, just because of the ending alone. This was unreal. This is going to be a very good match. I can sense it. I mean, the ending is going to be sacrificed. It's what they're going to have to do. It's not going to have the kind of ending that you're going to want to see. It's going to have a bland ending. It's going to be a count out, an interference by somebody, something of some sort. There's going to not, it's just not going to be a finish that you want to expect. You're not going to get a 1, 2, 3 or a tap out. You're going to get a disqualification or a count out. More than likely a count out because they have a disqualification. Like I mentioned in my last video about Seth Rollins, that would be the best thing to do in my opinion. Have a double disqualification because Seth Rollins interferes in the match and hits both of them with a briefcase. And they make it a fatal 4-way instead of a triple threat. But from what I've heard, they want to stick with the triple threat match, so probably the only other option they can go with is a double count out. And hey, if they can do what they did Monday night on Fastlane with a double count out, I'm all good for it. I liked it. I thought it was fantastic. and it was fun to watch. Good stuff by both of these guys. I liked it a lot. So, overall, the show, in my opinion, got a 3.5 out of 5, maybe even a 4, I could say. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 just to be generous. And I just got to say one thing. Promos have gotten really good on this show the last few weeks. And Monday night was awesome. I really, there was a few things about it that I just didn't like, but overall the show was good. It had more good than bad. And that is pretty much my overall look on this. If they can keep doing things like this, I think they could go ahead and start getting back to the old WWE that they once were, that people appreciated. But it's going to be what they want to do. If they want to go ahead and be childish, that's their right, because it's their show. My personal opinion, they stick with shit like this, they will go further with this company and get back to where they once were. Overall, the show was fantastic. I loved it. Hope you guys did. But anyway, it's everybody's opinion, and this is mine. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great night.